Hi everyone, it's Shamila Ramjawan from the Red Corner Show. My guest today is Dr. Randi D. Ward from Atlanta, Georgia, USA. She is a best-selling author, an NLP practitioner, a motivational speaker, and lots more. And we're going to get to know who Dr. Ward is today. Hello, Dr. Ward. How are you? Can I call you Randy?
Absolutely, as long as I can call you Shamila.
Okay, I'm just live on Facebook. Do you want to check if you connected?
I'm not sure I can, but don't worry about it. It's okay. You're going to make a YouTube thing out of this too, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
that's okay.
It's so good having you. So, what does it feel like crossing across, coming across South Africa from Atlanta, Georgia? It's such a commemorative day today in the USA with the inauguration. How does it feel?
Well, we have a new president and a new vice president. That happened about a half an hour ago with the swearing. But I have been to South Africa. In fact, Johannesburg twice. I was there in 2000, and I was there with my late husband who passed away last year in March of 2019. And may I say, this is such an honor. I've been on so many platforms and done so many interviews, but this is one that I will never forget because of my love for South Africa and the South African people. I I love Paris. Paris is my favorite city, okay? But Africa is my favorite continent. I've been in 60 countries and I love South Africa, Swaziland, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Kenya. Uh, I just love this whole part of the world. I think you people are amazing. And I've been so excited about being on this platform with you today. You can't even imagine. And I'll never forget it. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. It's such a privilege and an honor to speak to you. And, I'm so interested to get to know you a little better. I know we've been chatting, but it feels so great because I feel as though you're right here in my red corner.
Yes, I wish. I wish. One day I will. I will be there. I will come
You
back to South
will.
Africa.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to hosting you in South Africa. So you've been to 60 different countries and a lot of countries in Africa. Would you choose South Africa over the rest?
Yes, I would actually. I have a passion for Kenya too because I work with North Santosi and with African Nomads Conservation. I'm a wildlife African animal advocate, very serious one, and he's saving the elephants and the rhinos and working as a ranger now. And so I'm passionate with that. But I also love Kruger National Park and Johannesburg and Cape Town, and I've been along the coast. I spent a lot of time in South Africa, and I love it. In fact, it's secretly in my next life, I want to come back as a game ranger and work in Kruger National Park. I know that's insane, but that's how passionate I'm about the African animals. It's one of my passions. It's one of my things that I work at a lot. I've done a lot of YouTube videos to help save these animals. So yes, South Africa is definitely in the top 5 of my favorite places in the whole world.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. I feel so good now, being a South African, a proud South African. Randy, you spent years as an educator. How does it feel? And you still teach, you still do a lot in Africa and across the globe in terms of teaching. I can see it's a passion. But how did that come about?
Well, when I was a child, I wanted to be a singer, dancer, movie star. But God had other plans for me. He wanted me to be an educator. So I taught language arts, which includes grammar, literature, writing, all the areas of language arts for 37 years, okay, in the American public schools. I taught 19 years in my home state of West Virginia in 2 school districts, but then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and taught 19 years there before I retired, and two other different school districts. I was also a pioneer in gifted education in the early 1970s and helped my university, Marsh University, create programs for the gifted teachers. I taught grades 7 through 12 during those 37 years. But then when I retired in 2008, it wasn't because I hated teaching. I just wanted something different. My last year of teaching was actually one of my best years ever. But I was excited thinking about the idea of getting to sleep in late, doing what I wanted. But it turned out to be a disaster because I'm a very active person, and sitting home with nothing to do was not good for me. I felt like I had no vision, no purpose anymore. So in 2010, I joined Facebook. And because of that, I met this young man who was opening a language school, an English language school in Cairo, Egypt. He offered me a job. And at first I thought, do I really want to go to Cairo, Egypt to teach English? But then I decided, hey, yeah, I really do. So ironically, when I went there on November 3rd, 2011, a week after I got there, the second revolution in Egypt began. And I was living 3 blocks from Tahrir Square, the center of the revolution. For the next 3 months that I was there, I was surrounded by violence, protester. I've listened to people die. One night in December 2011, 12 people died and 120 people injured. I heard the whole battle for 6 hours. And then all of a sudden there was silence. And I went to the area where the protest had been, and there was barbed wire all around the street, no people, no trash, nothing. So I went to school and taught that day. I was teaching young adults English as a second language. So when I came home, I thought, I need to do more for Egypt. I'm still an educator, even though I was retired. I'm always going to be a teacher. So I decided to open 2 schools. The first one was called Rise Up.
Amazing.
In about 2013, I went back and I had written a book on my life in Egypt. So I went back to my school and I had my book launched there and also opened the school. And this was ironically with 2 Egyptian former students at the center I had taught at. So we worked really hard to make this school successful. And it was a beautiful school. But sadly, it had to close because the economy in Egypt was still a mess. Everything was just, there was nothing stable. Well, Randi never gives up. So I opened another one called 6 October Nursery. I was teaching via Skype little 4 and 5-year-olds and their parents English as a second language with my friend Samar Farouk. Well, Samar got deathly ill, even though she was a very young girl. She got very sick and had ended up in the hospital for 3 months. Well, I couldn't be there to handle the school business, so we had to close that school. Now, I don't consider either one of them failures. It was the beginning of me learning how to become an entrepreneur and trying to do something wonderful for Egypt, creating good education. And one day I may do it again. Who knows? So,
who knows?
All right, after that, I thought, okay, I'm still not done teaching. So I had all these international friends. I have actually, I know this is a little saying, 5,000 Facebook friends in 55 countries. And the average Facebook age is about 28. So I had become like mama to the world, literally, because they all call me Mama Ward. And many of them want to learn English. So I used to, when I could, teach online for free English to them, but it became such a challenge with the time differences and also the poor internet service that I had to stop that. So now what I've done is I've accumulated a list of like 10, 12 really great websites that are free online, and I offer those to the students so that they can get online and study. And for those few people that need that little additional help, I do go online and help them. So I'm still teacher Randi, but I'm also eternally student. Every day I have to learn something new, and that's what I encourage my students. Don't just think you know everything. You'll never know everything. I'm 71 and I'm still a student. I'm a student of life.
You are 71?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness, you look amazing.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't asking for a compliment, but thank you. That made me feel good. You made me smile. Thank you.
No, you look incredible for 71. Well done.
I smile a lot and I have a good attitude, and that's a lot of it,
Yes.
Being positive keeps you young, and being around all these young people keeps me young also.
True. I share your sentiments.
You look amazing too. I know your age because you posted it, but I won't say, but you're a beautiful woman. So yes, we're taking care of ourselves, right?
Absolutely. It's all about self-care. I think, it's what you do for yourself, and you look in that mirror and you say you are beautiful. So every single person is beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree.
Randi, so Egypt, where are we with Egypt? Are you going back there to do more work? Or do you find that your passion lies somewhere else now?
Well, I still love Egypt, and I still have many friends that I talk to every day. In fact, you'll be amazed. There is an Egyptian family living with me. in my house. My husband passed away from lung cancer on December 15, 2019. So besides the pandemic, I had the grief that I was feeling because we were married for 48 years. You don't get over that easily. So there was a young man that I met when I was teaching named Ahmed, and we became friends on Facebook after I left. Well, and then he got married and had a little girl, and they named her Randi. So
How
3 years
amazing is
ago,
that?
yes, 3 years ago, they won the green card lottery, the diversity lottery, and they moved to the United States. Well, because of me, they moved in my area. In fact, they were living next door, renting the in-law suite of the house next door. And the lady who owned the house sold it recently. And because of the pandemic and everything, they could not find a place that they wanted to move to. So I said, I cannot let you be homeless. You're moving in with me. So I share my home with my Egyptian family. So I always will always have this Egyptian connection. And I am actually grandma number 3 to little Randi. She calls me grandma. We're very close.
That is so special. Randy, so you left Egypt and your work there that you've done, and then you took on another hobby, I would say. I call it a hobby. And you started writing books.
Oh, yes.
What inspired you to do that?
Yeah. Well, because of Egypt, I had been in all these countries. At that time, I'd been in 48 countries, and I'd experienced so many things. I mean, being in China 3 years after it opened to the public, and I could have written all those stories, but I was teaching. I didn't have time. I was grading and evaluating other people's work. Did not have time to do mine. But when I came home, I knew I had to tell this story. I had to tell the story of the Egyptian people and how hard they were fighting for their independence, and how much I had learned, how much I had changed. Because as a tourist, you're staying in 4- and 5-star hotels, but I had to live as a local, and it was not an easy life for me. I was trying to live off the money that I was getting. And believe me, I didn't bring any money home. I did not become rich being a teacher in Egypt. I spent every bit of my money just trying to survive there. But I did become an Egyptian woman. In fact, they call me Rari. So that's my nickname is Rari. And it was such a life-changing experience that when I came home, I thought, I have to write this story. So I had taken hundreds and hundreds of pictures. So I have put 153 pictures in my book. It's called Because I Believed in Me, My Egyptian Fantasy Came True. And ironically, I could not think of a title. I could think of a title for all the chapters. That was easy. And I got all my pictures inserted with the chapters. But the book title was a problem for me. I wanted to be about Egypt, but I wanted it to be about my life-changing experience. So I had a Facebook book contest, and like hundreds of people submitted names. But ironically, 2 Egyptians named my book. The first one was Because I Believed in Me, and the second person named My Egyptian Fantasy Came True. So that's the reason this title was so long. And I dedicated the book to them. Also, the cover of my book was created by an Egyptian artist who was a real friend of mine. So even the book with all of the pictures in it is very Egyptian. And another funny story. My son is the art director for Reader's Digest in Germany. He's married to a German girl. There were 45 photos I wanted in that book, but they belonged to my Egyptian friends, and they were taken with phone cameras. And the DPI has to be 300, right? Or more? They weren't. My son said, I can't raise the DPI. My publisher said, we can't raise the DPI. A 15-year-old Egyptian genius who was a friend of mine at the time said, let me see what I can do. In 45 minutes, those 45 pictures were raised to a DPI of 300 or more, and they're in my book. So,
oh my gosh,
don't ever say nothing is impossible.
Yes.
I believe anything is impossible if you find a way to make it happen.
For sure.
So this is my passion. So I've done a lot of interviews promoting this book and promoting Egypt. But as far as going back, probably that will not happen. I still have other countries I want to see. And I will choose to do that first. But I still help Egypt in every way I can with videos and things and interviews like this one.
Lovely. Well, I can see, it's just, it's your destiny that everything falls or just is around Egypt. And I'm sure you're going to do lots of work there again. And I'm sure you're going to do lots of work in Africa as well. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with you. But just taking, going back to losing your husband, we want to inspire other women out there. We want to share stories, life stories. How did you handle that? You've been married for so long, and now suddenly you lose your soulmate. And this is a crisis we're all facing at the moment across the globe. People are losing spouses, families are being taken away by COVID-19. But you lost your husband through cancer. How did you manage all of that? If you want to share some of that with us.
Yes. Well, it was shocking. I put him in the hospital on November 14, 2019 with double pneumonia, which was bad enough, but I never expected him not to leave that hospital. On December the 6th, he had a lung biopsy because they couldn't figure out why they couldn't get rid of the pneumonia. They tried everything. On December the 9th, they told us that he had lung cancer. On December the 15th, he was gone that quickly.
Gosh.
So all those allergies that they told him had for months, and the pneumonia, it was not pneumonia, it was lung cancer. So I was devastated. The only thing that I'm grateful for is that he passed away before the pandemic and before hospitals would not allow family members to be with their sick ones, because he would have died alone. In fact, my Egyptian family and another family were there with him when he passed away. I couldn't do that. I had watched him suffer. I'd watched him go down to nothing in weight. I'd watched him not being able to breathe. So I had to say goodbye and go home, and I couldn't be there when he died. So I was devastated. I've been through a lot. I didn't walk for 5 years of my life as a kid. I had a horrible accident, broke 8 bones in my body, including my neck, 8 months of physical therapy. I could handle all of that, but I couldn't save my husband. Because I'm kind of like a control freak, and I couldn't save him. So I was devastated. I mean, I was living by myself with my St. Bernard at that time, and I cried a lot. But then I decided, Randy, this is not who you are. And I promised my husband on his deathbed, literally, that I would continue to dream bigger, which is my philosophy, and move forward as soon as I could. So, strangely enough, I was on this teleconference thing, and this woman was talking about coaching, coming to her class and learning to become a life coach. And I thought, this is another platform for me to get my words out there to help young people. So I enrolled in her courses, and from April until July 1st, I became a Harmony Life Coach, Holistic Emotional Intelligence Coach, NLP practitioner, and communication certified person. So because of that, and because it kind of made me come alive again, I am now starting my third career. I'm now a master editor. I'm editing books for people, for authors, and I'm also a coach teaching young people or anybody how to write that book that they're having trouble writing, because I taught writing. So this is what I'm doing now, and I'm starting my business. It's starting to really become successful. I'm excited about that. So you're never too old to start another career. So at the age of 71, I'm starting career number 3. How crazy is that?
I agree. You're never too old to start anything. If you have the passion and you want to put your mind to it, and you just do it. It's as simple as that.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm doing. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm writing articles for a lot of anthologies that I'm going to be in the next 6 to 8 months. And then I hoped with the editing money that I make to publish my books, because I did during that time, that 8-month period, when I had a broken arm. I have a 8-inch plate and 6 pins in my arm. I had a broken neck and wore a neck brace for 93 days. I wrote a 400-page novel instead of sitting there worrying and being upset from the pain. I wrote a novel. So I'm hoping that this year I'm going to publish that book. So I'm excited.
You are such an inspiration, and I know you're going to publish lots more, because you really.
Yes, I write poetry, short stories for children and adults. I'm a novelist. I'm a blogger. I'm a YouTuber. Yeah, I do all of those things. Like I said, I get bored easily, so I have to keep challenging myself to find something new to do.
But that's amazing, and I mean, look how it's not a bad thing to get bored, because I mean, in your case, you're utilizing the time, and you're also making such a big impact globally with sharing your work. So in saying that, you are a multiple awardee, recognized with all these accolades. What actually stands out for you? And do you want to maybe take us through some of the accolades that you've earned?
Well, I'm very humbled, and I always feel, why me? Why did they give this to me? But then receiving them since 2014, but I won't go back that far. I'll talk about some of the more recent ones. I belong to an organization called International Association of Top Professional. I should get you in that, by the way. It's an amazing organization of these international people, including astronauts and world famous scientists and inventors. Oh, it's amazing. But in 2017, they honored me with Top Professional of the Year in Language Arts, 2018, Top Female Professional and Empowered Woman, 2019, Top Female Visionary and Hall of Fame inductee. And then my biggest one is 2020 Educator of the Decade in Language Arts. Top 100 Registry named me 2019 Top Female Editor of Georgia, 2019 Woman of the Year in Writing, 2020 Woman of the Year in Language Arts. Ada Garteman in the UK gave me the She Inspires Me Award in 2020. I'm a member of World Women Convention and Awards, We Are the Change Movement, and Global Achievers. You need to get into that too. I'm going to help you with that. That's amazing. I am a USA advisor for the International Youth Society. Carl Wilson in the United States gave me the Red Blazer of Excellence Award, and I will be a crown recipient. I think you just got that recently, didn't you?
Yes,
the Red Blazer. I did. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will be one of the show hosts for one of the ceremonies if we can do anything in 2021. Now, another one that's really special to me is my university. This year made me the spotlight feature in their newsletter and their November alumni magazine. And I also did a 23-minute video on helpful hints on writing a short story, which was featured in the Marshall University Virtual Homecoming in October 2020. Caroline Makaka, who's one of our friends, made me a princess piece. I think you're one of those too, aren't you, my dear?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a beautiful survivor because of all the things I've been through. And then and they don't even know this, the doctor that gave me this, gave me the Future Global Achiever Award. And I'm so honored with that. I'm going to contact him and let him know about that with the Future Leader entity from Egypt. As you said earlier, I'm an international bestseller with Quarantina and Beyond. That was with 47 authors in 32 countries. Amazing, amazing. And in June, I will be honored with an honorary doctorate in humanitarianism. So,
oh my goodness,
I get overwhelmed. I keep wondering, who is this woman?
Yeah, well, I think the same thing. You know, it's like every other day you get up in the morning and you see a new award. You've been awarded something else. And I think, oh my God, you know, this is like just incredible that you're being recognized for what you're doing, which is great. So congratulations. Well done.
Well, like you, I think we both give back so much unselfishly to others that that everybody notices that and they give us a word. Because I'm very humble about that. I mean, I'm smiling right now, and I say all that stuff, but then I think, why me? But then, like you, because I follow you and I know all the amazing things you're doing, when you do for others, people want to award you with recognition. So we're blessed with that, aren't we, Shamila?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, you know, I mean, 3 hours of my time now, sitting and interviewing people and chatting to share stories across the globe. I'm not getting paid for it. It's my time. Time is money. It's valuable. I've got a million other things to do, but these are the sacrifices we make because we want to make an impact in people's lives.
Yes. Yes. Definitely agree. And that's the reason I hope to do my own show one day. I told you about that earlier. So we'll talk more about that. Maybe I can get you a part of that. That would be
absolutely,
awesome.
Absolutely. I would be most delighted and honored to actually get on board. So, Randi, where to from here? What's the plans for 2021? We've just started the year and everyone's fighting COVID. We're losing loved ones and it's actually quite sad for the world. But what are your plans?
Okay, well, I support a lot of organizations. I told you about African Nomads Conservation earlier, okay, in Kenya. But I also work with my ambassador friend in Egypt with World Peace Forest Africa. He's growing moringa trees, which is the scientists call the miracle tree, and he hopes once he has enough of them to reforest Africa with it. I'm also the chief editor and a contributor for a Morocco Pens magazine with 2 Moroccans. One of them is like my son, and we post articles written by non-native English writers, and I edit and we put them in our magazine for free so that they can become published writers. It's so awesome.
Aren't they the most amazing people, the Moroccans?
Yes, they are. Yes.
There's just something so different about them.
Yes. Oh, I love them. I have almost as many Moroccan friends online as I do Egyptian, because I know they all find me. I'm also an e-magazine editor for this Chemo Buddies for Life with my friend Tamara Hunter, who has won the Impactor Award in 2019 in this big contest they had. And we do this program to help cancer victims on chemo. And she also did a 300 or 36-hour telethon like Jerry Lewis used to do, raising money for this. As I said, I'm planning to interview people. I'll tell you more about that later. But I also have lots of other plans. The list is so long. I'm going to open a new magazine with my friend Johnny Tan called My Mama's Kitchen, from My Mama's Kitchen. It's going to be geared toward millennial mothers, things that they want to learn. We're excited about that. I want to help Morocco Pens grow. I'm going to publish my books, as I said earlier. I'm going to create programs to help newer struggling writers. I'm going to build my editing business and just find any way I can to encourage and support young people. I'm a teacher. I like to support everybody, but young people seem to be floundering and not knowing what direction with all this craziness going on in our world. And so I want to help them. And of course, I want to continue to save those animals, especially the ones in Africa that are endangered now. Because when I've been on so many game drives and seeing them in the wild, it's the most amazing thing I've ever done. And I have to help save them. We can't let our future generations not be able to see animals in the wild, you know?
Yes, for sure. Anything else that you want to add that you're not doing, or anything on your bucket list? Because it's just, you've got this whole list and there's so many projects you're currently working on, but is there anything else that you would love to do at some point?
The list is endless, but before I leave, I would like to share some advice to those young people and the entrepreneurs. Can I do that? That's what I'd like to end with, if
With
that's
absolute
possible.
pleasure.
Okay. All right. My life philosophy is believe, don't dream big, dream bigger. The sky is the limit, so reach for the stars. It's actually copyrighted. And I'm a poet, so I'd like to read this poem that I hope inspires people who are troubled or have lost their direction or don't have a direction that might help them. My poem is called Look Inside Yourself. Look inside yourself to find out what you can see. Do you honestly see what you want to be? If not, there is no time to waste. You need to make some changes in haste. Everything in the world is open to you. You just must be willing to take a risk or two. It may not be easy to do this at the start. It will require hard work and passion from your heart. Some people may try to stand in your way. You must be strong and tell them to go away. You must reach down inside to unearth your power. You must strive to climb to the top of your life tower. The climb may be slower than you hope or desire, but when you reach the top, your heart will feel the fire. So always move forward and never look back. Doing this will keep you progressing on the perfect track. I am a woman who's always taken risks, not dangerous, crazy risks, but risk in my life. And sometimes that they fail, like the schools, sometimes they don't. But I encourage people, if you don't take risk, if you don't step out of your comfort zone, you'll never achieve your dreams. So that is my advice to people. Step out of your comfort zone, take some risks, dream bigger than most people, and you will succeed.
I love that. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's my philosophy as well. You know, just dream big and dream bigger.
Yes.
Ada Gartenman says, well, she's actually watching you now, and she puts a whole lot of hearts, and she clapped when you actually recited that. Do you have a message for her? I know you're very close.
Just to continue, just never give up. I mean, look at me. I never gave up. I lost my husband. I was, for a few months, like I said, I was devastated, but I picked myself up because I knew that he was up there looking down at me, pointing his finger, saying, no, 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 you've got to move on. So I just want everybody to move forward. This pandemic will end. We will get through this. God bless those that have lost their lives. We all just need to try to stay as healthy as we can and do what the doctors and the experts tell us to do to stay safe. And hopefully the vaccine will end this craziness we've been in. But everybody just needs to hang in there, pray a lot, and we'll get through this together. And love each other and always be kind. If you can't be anything else, at least be kind, right?
Yes, I so agree with you. Love each other and just make peace and forgive. I think that's what the world needs right now.
Yes, definitely.
Randy, in closing, your last words?
Just it was just such a pleasure to be with you today. Seriously, this meant so much to me because of my love for Africa, as I've tried to express, and I will continue to love Africa and do what I can to help people in Africa too. I'm very connected with Africa. I think most of my Facebook friends are in Africa. In fact, on Saturday, I'm going to be on a whiteboard, I guess that's what you call it, and I'm going to be teaching young adult Algerians English during an hour program. That's happening Saturday. So I'm always connected with Africa and many people there and still trying to teach and inspire. So that's what I want to do. You know, if you have a message, share it with others too. And then try to inspire and be positive. All this negativity needs to end. We need to be positive.
I love that. And this is what this show is all about. It's about inspiring people, sharing your stories, because you never know who you're going to help in the process. Thank
Yes.
you, Dr. Randy Ward, for coming on board and chatting to me all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, USA. I wish you all the best and go and enjoy the celebration. I know it continues now, I think, for the rest of our lives. We are so proud
Yes.
to have
Yes.
women representation now as well.
Yes. Sending hugs to you and everyone in Africa.
Thank you so much and take care of yourself. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you again.
It's a pleasure. Thank you to everyone that's been watching, and I hope to bring you more inspirational people on the Red Corner Show. If you would like to come on board, please send me an email, redcornerchat@gmail.com, and let's get chatting, and you too can inspire others. Bye.